First of all, update on some of your players that were injured. Sebastian and Sapinski did not make the trip to what's their status and potential to play sometime soon.
Questionable, and I just talked to them. They're going to make it.
Any more detail on what happened with Brett?
No.
Because he made it through the.
Well, just talked to him, and like I said, he's questionable for the weekend, and he's going to pull through.
Sebastian is questionable also?
Yes.
How much did your team change without them? Yes.
I thought the first night it affected us a little bit, but the second night, we were in that game. We had an unfortunate, set of circumstances, and it cost us dearly, and hopefully we learned from that. But, we still had half a game to get over it. So, it was just one of those things I think we had to learn from, and because that was a learning weekend, and just unfortunately when you're learning, you're going to take some losses, and that's exactly what happened.
You're happy to come back from break and play a couple out of conference games before you're now getting back to ECAC play to maybe go through a learning weekend?
Sure. Yeah, if you're gonna be learning, you might as well learn in non-conference. But from a pairwise perspective, these guys are pretty well, because it was mentioned that you're going to need to win your league and probably most likely playoffs to get a shot at the NCAAs. So there's no pressure on you whatsoever. Now we just go out and play, and we don't have to worry about all that stuff.
I think you were referring to Kosak's major and then the game misconduct that kind of took the momentum away from you guys. And then meanwhile, Rinaldi also had a game misconduct. Was that a product of the game getting chippy or anything?
No, not at all. It was good, hard, clean hockey. Our style's a little bit different than theirs, but they were an excellent hockey team. It was a great test for us. But no, our guys were playing hard. They took hard penalties. Unfortunately, they were 2-5 in majors.
Looking at the opportunity in front of you this weekend, return to conference play against two teams who have struggled a little bit, I guess, in conference play. So what are you telling your guys as you approach Dartmouth River this weekend?
Well, we haven't even talked about Dartmouth yet. So, we'll go over them today a bit. They'll get on that bus tomorrow, but we'll talk about them a lot more on Friday morning. But it's just been such a quick turnaround here for us, and to get back on the bus, it's just, I want them to focus on the practices, and that's what they've done so far. The leadership group has done a nice job, to date, so hopefully that keeps up.
From a number standpoint, Ryan Donato certainly has lived up to what he was supposed to do this year. What does he bring to the table, and how much of a challenge does he bring to the defense?
Well, it's funny. Not only is he dangerous every time he touches the ice, but he is a volume shooter as well as a sniper, and that's a dangerous combination when a guy is shooting the puck a lot and a lot of times it's going in the back of the net. So we really have to be aware of him every time he's on the ice. And they've had some guys here recently that are very dangerous hockey players. Some nights when we're plugged in against those guys, we've been successful, and nights that we forget our shoulder pads, we don't do so well against those guys.
When you face a situation where two-thirds of your top line are missing, what factors play into how you decide who's going to play with who at that point?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty big hole in your lineup.
Yeah, you're just trying to find the right recipe for that night with players out. That's why you have a staff. I bounce a lot of stuff off our staff to see if we come up with the most productive lines for that game. That we feel the guys that are in that lineup that night are going to be successful and help us win. This year we're 500, so I guess some nights are on and some nights are off.
As a hockey fan, so not specifically a coach, what do you think about the decision to not have any NHLers in the Olympics and instead we're seeing some college hockey guys get a chance?
Yeah, honestly, I think the NHL misses out with something like this. It's a way for the NHL to showcase our superstars in the NHL. I shouldn't say our, but they're superstars. And I think we're missing the boat there. But at the same token, it does give guys like Ryan Donato, these 3 other college hockey players, a chance to play in a spotlight that you'll never forget. And, for Ryan Donato, his dad played in the Olympics too, and I'm sure he's passed along just what a tremendous, experience it is. So I'm happy for the 4 college guys. I'm happy for those guys that maybe haven't quite gotten the NHL time that they wanted, and it gives them, a lot of spotlight.
I was going to say, when you actually look at the amount of games you played over half your schedule of the regular season, but a lot of times people say this is the second half of the year coming back from break. So coming out of break and after that last weekend, what are you looking to see from your team in this kind of final push getting back into ECAC play?
Getting back to our systems, getting a little more detailed is the biggest thing. I thought, even though we went into the weekend kind of going back and forth with the wins and losses here and there, I thought we did have some structure, and you could see that from the scoring chances, against us, which was low. And it gave us a chance to win, where I didn't feel we had that at Nebraska-Omaha. I think we had it for about a half a game out there. And that's the one thing. You go on break, and you go home for 12 days, you come back, and you kind of forget about the little details of the game. And that's what we're just trying to refocus through practice. And the only way to really find out is you're just going to have to go through those games and get battle tested to see if we can improve on that.
Brett and Sebastian, are they practicing and are they doing the full load of?
You're pretty good, Mike. You're pretty good. You're getting in 10-shot territory right now. Honestly, it's Sebastian is practicing. Brett is not.
Just some observations from last weekend out in Omaha. What was going on there, and how good of a team are they?
I thought they were a really good team, to be honest. They played hard. They were really, really good in transition. Seemed to know where each other were, no matter kind of where they were on the ice. And I think they just kind of flat out outplayed us in both games. The second game there, we started off pretty strong, had a good start, and then the 5-minute major kind of bit us in the butt there. So we just got to learn from it and put it behind us. We had a big weekend this weekend in league here.
Rick called it a learning weekend. What was it in your mind that you guys feel like you've learned this past weekend?
Well, I think you got to be ready to go every night. Obviously that was a huge couple games for us in the pairwise. If you win those two, you could jump quite a bit, especially on the road. So it's a good lesson for the team going forward and just making sure that we're ready to go every single night.
Not that you're ever comfortable, but how important was it to win 6 of 8 in the first, early portion of the league schedule? Just kind of have that in the bank going into now you're getting into the league pretty seriously now.
I think it's important, especially coming into the second half of the season. Obviously, we only have league play now, so getting those 6 wins is a huge stepping stone right now. And I think that with how competitive it's going to be, that we just need to battle every game. And obviously, it's a bit more comfortable out there knowing that we can compete in this league, and hopefully we can keep going the way it's been going.
Have you guys been paying attention to the other teams at all? Clarkson certainly is having a really good season. Cornell's up there as well. You guys pay attention to what the other teams are doing at all?
A little bit, not too much, because we're pretty focused with our season. But you'll see it on social media, or we'll go over it in the room a little bit there. But right now we're just focused on us.
Speaking of which, Sebastian and Brett missed the weekend last weekend, which kind of put you in a spot where you had to play with some different kids. I mean, is it tricky at all mid-season to kind of shift gears and get comfortable with other kids? That line had been pretty much the most consistent thing about this whole team all year, and all of a sudden you got to play with some other guys.
Yeah, it was different. It was good to get some practice though. I practiced with Walker and Fu leading up to those weekend games, and I think it helped a lot. And we're very friendly as a team, so it's good to communicate and get to know each other's habits and everything. So I don't think it really matters who you play with on this team. But yeah.
That said, what do you guys lose when those 2 kids are not in the lineup, besides just number production?
Well, I mean, I think obviously they're a huge part of our team. both just by their play, but also their leadership in the room. Two guys that have played a lot of games here and have seen a lot over their time. So anytime guys like that go down, or really anybody goes down, it's it's tough, but at the same time, it gives room for other guys to really step up and give some other guys a nice opportunity to really capitalize on. So hopefully we can keep doing that.
From your experience playing against Ryan Donato, who's having statistically the season everybody expected him to, what makes him a difficult matchup?
He's obviously a really good player, and it's going to be important for us to know when he's on the ice and shut him down out there. But like Nals was saying, it's really important for us to focus on us, and not so much about who we're playing against. I think if we focus on our game and what we're good at, then we'll be just fine.
Rick was saying coming back from break, maybe one of the things that this team lost was some of the details, the structure, that he really thinks that this team needs to get back to heading into conference play. Why is that and those things maybe that you're missing? How do they make such a big difference? Why are they so important?
I'll let Ryan take this one.
Well, I think this really just comes down to the fundamentals of union hockey. We've always prided ourselves on defense first here, and I think this weekend we kind of got away from it a little bit in the D zone, and that led to some trouble offensively. I think when we're at our best, we play really good defense, and that leads to having the puck in the O zone and generating a lot of chances as a team. So, coach is definitely right about that. We got to get back to the drawing board a little bit here this week, and just get back into the flow of things and really crack down on that D zone.
Has that been reflected in what you guys have been doing in practice so far since last weekend?
Yeah.
Point of emphasis.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we're just trying to put last weekend behind us, but at the same time learn from it and prepare for this weekend.